Well, it's been an absolutely magical week. I I just keep pinching myself. I can't believe that I'm here. And many of you are probably wondering, well, how did all of this happen? How did it come together? How did John and I become friends? Well, we're going to answer all of those questions for you as we stroll his absolutely lovely garden. Okay, so you know what, friend? Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. How this all happened, how it all came together. So, first of all, well, you explain. How did we become friends? How did you find me?
Well, unfortunate circumstances create some pretty incredible
Friendships?
yeah.
Yeah.
So around COVID is the first time. This is our second home. We come here probably like, twice a month, 3 times a month. Weekends
And
only.
let me interrupt you. The
Yeah.
we is?
My partner Craig and I, yes.
Okay, yeah.
We purchased it in 2016, and then we never really had a chance to spend time here. And in 2020, when COVID hit, we were here for 6 months without going anywhere. So the wheels started turning for a garden, and that's where it all started. So, and a lot of it actually started from necessity. What you can see behind me here started just for privacy itself. So that's how we started gardening. And with no experience, we turned to YouTube, and we found you. So my partner actually found your channel, and then we ended up doing a favorites, and we kept watching and learning, and that's how we found you.
Well, it was just so lovely. And what's so interesting is that we think now that we were separated at birth because
sure.
we have such an overlapping aesthetic. And by the way, tell people what your profession is.
I'm an art director. I do everything from ad campaigns to company packaging, and anything visual for a brand is what I do.
Yeah,
so,
and he's worked with some pretty big names.
yeah, we have the exact same aesthetic.
With same aesthetic.
Both interior and outside. That's what was shocking to me. I rarely find that. So we kept seeing your videos, and once we really started our garden and our perennial borders and actually decorating the yard, I realized you had a lot of the same plants we use. We might pepper in a few other ones.
Interestingly, since I garden in a completely different zone.
And I remember reaching out to you and I said, I just realized how different our zones are, yet our base plantings are exactly the same.
Right.
How great would it be for you to come here and see how we accentuate those base plantings versus how you do it?
Well, the other thing is that the discovery process was reciprocated because I had discovered you and your aesthetic and it's just so interesting how these commonalities come together. And this, by the way, this is a trip that we have been working on for years.
Yeah, since 2020, I think at the end of 2022, we reached out, and then you said, oh, wait, I can't make it. I'm moving to a new cottage on a certain famous hill.
Right.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do it then because of that. And then you couldn't do it because you were moving your mom up from Texas.
Yep.
And, well, let's just say there was life interrupt us and we just couldn't do these things. And then we also wanted to do it at a given point in time throughout the course of the year because
a very short growing season that we have here.
A short growing season, but also a short touring season.
Yes.
So a lot of the places that we will visit, that we have visited, are part of the Garden Conservancy tour up here, started by Paige Dickey.
And just neighbors.
And just,
who are on the Garden Conservancy.
Yes. But just neighbors. And then by virtue of your excellent logistical skills, I mean, you guys, he put together an itinerary. He made the contacts. He asked Bunny. He asked Michael. I mean, it all came together because that is what you do, but also with such sensitivity and sensibility.
It was really important to me because, as a lot of you who watch her, she's been there to kind of comfort us through the pandemic and just be on in the background. And it was really important to me to pay it forward. And I said, these are all, all of these locations are just a phone call away from me. It's not a big deal. And to be able to share something and help a friend or just show them something new, it's something I felt I had to do, actually.
You just keep saying pay it forward. And while this stuff you say is easy for you, for somebody like me from Oklahoma City, oh my gosh, flying into New York and navigating that.
That
And
was
then
fun.
how do I, it was
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah.
And then how do I get from here to there?
Yeah.
And then you took Jamie and me to one of your very favorite childhood
Yes.
restaurants, Mr. Chow. That was beyond,
Beautiful.
that
Yeah.
was beyond fun. And we just had such a great time. And then almost immediately
Yeah.
we were like, oh, we've known each other for years.
We were at the table, I believe, from 7 to 11:30. We were the only ones left at the restaurant.
Yes.
And
Yes.
our mouths wouldn't stop moving.
No. Well, it was just like there's so much to catch up on. When you're already old friends when you meet, but you're not old friends,
Yeah.
you have to create.
Yeah.
You
And we
have to
got
kind of
real
create
personal real quick.
Real quick. Yes. And it's
Spending 2 hours with somebody on a road trip that you just meeting in person. But
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah.
there was nothing strange about it. We've been
No.
talking, we've been Zooming,
No.
we've been
No.
so many things
No,
have
and
happened
yes,
over
and
years.
that was the other
So-
thing. I knew about your family. You knew about my
Oh, yeah,
family.
yeah.
So there was a common language. Well, you know what? Let's take a break here.
Sure.
And when we come back, I want to talk about your garden,
Sure.
the history of it, what drew you to Falls Village,
Yeah.
kind of what your garden philosophy is,
Yeah.
and just how you see things progressing and evolving going forward.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
First of all, this barn. Every time I think of you, I don't know if that's a good a good combo or not, but every time I think of you, I think of this iconic red barn.
Yeah.
Partly because it's so prominent, I guess, on your Instagram page or whatever. But then that brings me to: what brought you to Falls Village? Was it the barn?
Yeah.
What was it?
Well, first of all, this barn is somewhat iconic in our friends. That's the first thing they see when we pull down the driveway. It's the
Yeah.
first thing when they're driving past the house, and it really is the star of the show for sure. And
Yeah.
someday
yeah.
I hope to be able to do some fun things inside.
Yeah.
But no, my partner and I we love to do road trips. Living in New York City, you just want to get out sometimes
yes.
of the manic mess, and
Yeah.
so we ended up just getting guidebooks for the entire kind of northeast area, and we ended up coming up here one time. I think I took you to the Lake Warramog,
Uh-huh.
and we ended up going up. It's about 20 minutes from here, and so we stayed there and we just fell in love, and we kept coming here. We've been coming here since 2006, I believe.
And
So
let
almost
me,
20
Yeah,
years.
and let me remind everyone that we're in Connecticut.
Oh,
we're not
yes.
in New York.
No, we're
we
not.
we are in Connecticut. And so how far is Falls Village from New York?
We're 2 hours from New York City, almost exactly. And yeah, so we gravitated to this northwest corner of Connecticut. It's really what it's called. It's Litchfield County, and we just, for some reason, we just kept coming back, staying at every little inn, every little motel, every bed and breakfast we could, just to recover from the manicness
from
of
the
work in the
city.
city. And we never thought we could afford to move out here, and we ended up accidentally driving by this house. And I didn't even bother to look at the listing, but it was so beautiful that I actually finally, decided to peek, and it was something we could actually afford.
And so at what point did you realize you were neighbors with Bunny Williams?
I didn't. I had no idea, because this time of year you really can't see up there. And so the funny thing about it is,
Is there a neighbor
yes,
waving?
we have a neighbor.
Hello,
Hi.
neighbor waving.
Hi. That's John, my namesake neighbor.
Oh, how fun.
And we have so much fun. They have a little fire pit up there. Believe it or not, we're right off of Main Street, but you would never know. We are in a town, although it looks somewhat rural with the trees and the barn behind us.
But it is, you call it a town, but it's a village within a town. Oh my gosh, this amazing spread that we have right here. First of all, it looks like a magazine cover.
It does.
Look at the amber light and I need to get you, hey John, I need to know where this is from. Okay, because that's incredible.
So that is Zafferano America, and it is the Pina Light.
Okay.
And it actually you can preset temperatures, color temperature. You can go from bright white to soft white, and then to this one, which is candle color.
Okay, so this is my favorite form of entertaining.
Yeah.
Which is, you create this, what you want to create is the beautiful moment and how it comes together in all of its deliciousness, and whatever can be part you, but it can be What was that woman, Sandra something, semi-homemade?
Semi-homemade. Yeah, exactly.
Semi-homemade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Yes.
semi-homemade. And I think practically all the entertaining that we do at home is I provide the venue and everybody else makes a contribution to it and everybody else takes ownership in it. And you can do it on the fly then.
Yeah, and let
you
the
can do it
experts make
very
it.
quickly.
Yeah.
You can do it very quickly. Well, if you haven't done it already, you are probably about in the process of switching out your winter wardrobe for your summer wardrobe. And very important is to switch out your Bombas winter socks for your summer socks. You guys know that I absolutely love them. They are so, so comfortable. I love the fact that they don't have any toe seams at the edges, so there's nothing that's kind of providing additional pressure or something as you're working out or you're in the garden. But again, they are especially cushy. They are especially comfortable if you're on the feet all the time, as a lot of gardeners are. Now, also what I love about them is that for every pair you buy, everything you buy off of Bombas, they will make a donation. In fact, they have donated over 150 million products. You know, it's feel good, do good, and if you guys want to feel good and do good like me, then check out this QR code. It's 20% off your first purchase. I'll make it easy for you. There's a link, but I promise you, they make gardening just that much easier.
This was that perfect opportunity. You know, we took a wrong turn when we were coming to a restaurant here in Falls Village, and again, that's how we drove by it. And then we looked at the listing, and next thing you know, the following weekend we were sitting at the table here with the realtor and looking at the properties. So
well, and you've done it over time. You had, you know. What I so appreciate is you've done everything organically. You didn't feel like, oh, I have to, you know, just your profession to the contrary. You didn't feel like you had to make it immediately magazine worthy or anything like that. You really invested.
Well, nor was that the plan. You know, we just wanted a place. Again, spending a lot of time and listening to your house will really, really dictate how you live. In ways that you never thought. We bought this in order to keep it simple. So, you know, so long to that. To keep it simple, be near lakes to kayak, and we just wanted to put some screen doors on it and just have a place to get away, a quiet place. Cut to COVID, and the house started telling us, I want some hedges, I want some flowers, I want some cool furniture inside, you know, and so it really changed. But we were up for the challenge, and you know, the first few years it was really tough. It's from 1761. It's an old house. The woman we bought it from was 95. She'd lived here for 63 years. There was no information cable, internet cable coming to the house. There was no septic to the house. There were so many issues and again, ignorance is bliss. I didn't know what any of that meant at the time.
Well, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about, you know, your lifestyle and sometimes what I call good garden fit of how your life, how you work, where you work, all fits into your garden philosophy, and how that dictates the structure of your garden, how you manage problems, your garden design philosophy, all that. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. Well, every kind of outdoor space, indoor outdoor space, needs this kind of screen door because it just captures summer.
Quintessential.
It captures summers, and it's practical because mosquitoes, gnats, all of those kinds of things.
Yes.
We have to kind of keep moving.
Yes.
So so you've got a place in New York.
Yes.
Now you have this place. Now you want to start a garden.
Yes.
You're watching YouTubes. Okay, so then talk to me about what you did here, because the property was in as much need of repair, of structure, as organization and everything as the inside, as the house itself.
Exactly. Yeah, no, there was nothing here, nothing, you know, no structure, no evergreens. We realized our very first winter here, once all the leaves dropped, that we were fully exposed in every direction to every house. So we really, our garden plan came from privacy, instead of trying to create privacy and really trying to make it beautiful at the same time, because that can be very difficult. We thought, do we put a fence along the road? Do we put grasses along the road? And thankfully, because of one of our neighbors is a landscaper, and he said, you should do yews. We were originally going to do evergreen trees all the way along the road here, because you could see every car and everyone walking by, every headlight. And he said, that could create a lot of moisture issues for the house. So do a lower yew. And the second we put in the top row of yews here, everything changed. We started getting ideas. It became our canvas.
So this border of yews, which, by the way, okay, so this is Hicks or Hicksii yew.
Yes, exactly.
And then what is that variety?
So that's a version of Hicks. It's called Hills yew. It has a slightly smaller needle than the Hicks.
But it grows taller.
And it grows a little taller, and it's a little wider. And it really has done its job really well. When we put them in, they actually were not touching. They were individual shrubs, and just in 5 years. So we did, and we've also done it in phases. We've never had the finances to do this all at once. So that happened in 2020, and these didn't happen until 2023. Neither did the hydrangeas. So I mean, there was a 3-year lull.
I misunderstood you earlier.
Yeah. Yes.
And what are these Annabelles? What are
those? Are little limes.
Little limes. Okay.
Peppered in with some of our giant white alliums for
Mount Everest.
Yes, that's the ones. Yes.
Okay.
So again, those yews at the top became the canvas for everything. We didn't expect it to roll out this way. It naturally occurred. We started looking, how do you pair? What do you pair with a yew hedge? How do you soften that? That stark wall of green? And we started finding images, and by August, late July or August, all of these hydrangeas are just a big ocean of white behind this, between these two, separating the two hedges. And
I adore it. So where do you find yews this big?
The Northeast, we're really lucky. We're lucky. We have some growers in Southern Connecticut and in upstate New York. And they block
out.
There you go.
And they block out noises like that.
Yeah. And so we found those, and then over time, these I actually ended up ordering from Instant Hedge, the smaller ones.
Okay, so
I was less patient the second time.
I want to ask you about that, because I have seen so much stuff about Instant Hedge.
Yes.
And wow, they really
they packed them perfectly. They delivered them quickly. I was shocked that they came on an airplane. They were actually air freighted. I was really shocked, and they were kind enough to actually drop them off in the barn so that they could be protected until we were planted. Yeah.
Okay, so I am kind of a mulch nerd.
Me too.
Even though I don't use a lot of it. Boy, this is beautiful. You seem like the type of person that would be particular about your mulch.
I'm very picky about my mulch. First of all, if the brown is slightly too red, or if it looks too synthetically dyed, I don't like that. If it's too chunky and it distracts from the plantings, I don't like that. So this actually comes from our local gardens, Salisbury Garden Center, locally, and it's the only one I use. And sometimes I'll have someone drop it off in bulk. Other times I'll go by myself in my pickup and just load it up. But it's
okay. So back to this hedge, because I have often looked at Insta Hedge, and they do boxwood, they do yew, they do which is just amazing.
All of it.
So how tall were these when you got them?
They were actually probably at the tallest height here. They were about 48 inches to 60 inches, and we've brought them down. It just felt a little severe. So we've started to bring them down each year for the last 3 years.
So this is
approximately the original height here.
Okay, so you've got what sections do they come in?
About, I believe it's 35-inch sections.
35-inch sections, and you just put section.
I actually have I have images I'll pass on so everyone could see before and during. I was here filming while they were putting them in. So they came in sections, and I actually ordered. I didn't order enough, and so we were left with a gap here and a gap at the end, and they were so quick to send a batch when I said their calculations weren't correct.
Where did they come from?
Oregon. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have been so interested in that, because this is one of the kind of things that I'm really very budget conscious and everything, but at a certain point, you get old enough.
Yeah.
You think, I'm not going to be around. I want
Yeah.
this to go ahead and be mature. And
Yeah.
I have often wondered about instant hedge.
Yeah.
And
There are, they do come in a great shape. They are true to size what they list. I do believe that. It just takes them a little bit to really blend in as it does any plant.
so, okay, so I'm just going to guess
Mm-hmm.
that you have lots of evergreens because you're only here usually on the weekends unless
Exactly.
you're here for a particular reason. So maintenance
Exactly.
and everything, how does that inform your garden philosophy?
So there are two things that we talked about. Actually three. Number one, it all started for the need of privacy. Number two, when thinking of beauty, we were wondering, if we're 2 hours away and we're not here all the time, we can't be maintaining it. We can't hire a staff. We don't have that kind of budget. So we really said, let's start with an architectural mentality and let's build the rooms and let's do evergreens, something that we need to maybe prune at least probably twice a year. We only do it once a year to get the shapes that we want. But that is something you can just have done, be here with them, and then you're set for the rest of the year. So we wanted to frame it out first.
Okay, so when it comes to things like pests, and because I'm sure your garden nemesis are different than mine, how do
Yes.
you deal with that kind of thing? And I think, did you tell me, I know you're like me, we talked about this every morning, you've got your coffee.
You actually walked down the other morning.
Yeah, you do.
And I was in there weeding away.
You do your own
yes.
walkabout. So
Every morning, yes.
how does your maintenance fit your lifestyle fit the property, all of that kind of thing?
So again, we looked for just architectural and structural plants that, we can leave it and go, you know what I mean? And we can come back. And number two is we really did focus on getting our irrigation right. We did it ourselves. We YouTubed and Googled and we ran irrigation just to protect everything when we're not here, and just got our little battery timers, on the hoses, and that keeps everything going and we don't have to worry about it. So number one is low maintenance. Number two is because of the very humid and lush qualities or of the area, we have a lot of pests. If there's one thing I've learned is everything's hungry and everything wants to eat everything.
Speaking of, let's talk about what deer pressure here.
Oh, extreme. We have to burlap the outside of this yew hedge every year. We keep it. It's the same one. We just roll it back up. It's both wire and burlap to protect it. And on this side, we do the Deer Pro spray to make sure that it doesn't get eaten, because a family of deer in the dead of winter, when there's no deciduous foliage to eat, will strip an entire plant, in the night. So it's a little scary.
It is a little
so we do protect. So that's another part of what I would call an extra step, but still low maintenance. It's once a year you put the burlap. Once a year, you do the spray. So, and this is the uglies of the yard right now, where these just went in last week.
But this
haven't
fragrance, I mean, I'm just standing there and it's wafting over here. Okay, let me ask you another question. How did you decide on the color of paint and that kind of thing? Was it just intuitive?
It somewhat. Craig went to the Historical Society and was looking through old photos, old drawings, he really went through, and then he started looking through actual colonial colors, and then we ended up testing so many. We had squares. It looked like a patchwork house for a while. We had squares of greens and grays and taupes and browns and, first period colors, colonial colors, everything. And we settled on this, and it feels right. It really does feel right for the house.
And it, I think, is very consonant with the barn. It all looks like, look at this. Look at the size of this boxwood here. This is just...
Do you know what this guy actually is? Something I'd never heard of.
Is it holly?
No, I had never heard about it until a few weeks ago. It's a steed holly.
Okay. It is a holly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So colonnade hollies, steed hollies, soft caress hollies, they have this look. And I should have guessed that based on all of the berries. So if you can't grow boxwood, maybe you can grow holly, or vice versa.
Yes.
So was all of this all looks so organic to the property. There's stone walls everywhere here.
Everywhere.
Did you put this in? Was this here?
So there was an iteration of it before that had been here for well over 100 years. It was about 2 feet shorter and it was collapsing. And we really talked about, how do we rebuild it? Do we rebuild it as is? And then we had the idea, let's raise it up to have usable space, because the slope was so steep that it was not usable, and we thought, why not have a great perch up here? So we brought it up about 2 feet and repaired it. We kept as many of the original stones where they were, and then just reorganized the ones that had collapsed, and obviously added a few more.
Okay, I want to take a moment here and just let Stuart stand in one place and do a 360. Just torque in a circle, because what you see from here
Yes.
is incredible. So, okay, this direction is
That's east.
East. Okay, so that direction's east. Let's talk about this big daddy here.
Yes. So we had these very large evergreens brought in, Norway spruces and hemlocks. I've come to learn that Norway spruces are really the way to go if you want privacy. The hemlocks are wonderful. They're my favorite evergreen. However, they are more temperamental for
Okay.
sure. But this guy was an extra tree that we over ordered just in case. So we put him there to block the neighbors a little,
and block
then,
the noise as
noise, and eventually we want to get it a buddy so it's not alone.
Yeah.
And we'd love to do a small gazebo or sitting area tucked behind it, so you can look at watch the brook, have a coffee, and be
a
alone.
destination kind of
Yes,
place.
exactly.
I mean, look at the size of the fern. You've got the wilds in the distance, which,
And that we're going to really keep working with our local garden center and pull native plants and really bring it back. We're going to stop mowing back there. We're going to put native plants and also some beautiful decorative woodland plants and whatnot, but really just make it a little escape from the manicured part of the garden.
maybe one or distinctive garden ornament
Yes.
back there of some.
Yeah, ornaments are another thing that I had to learn quickly, that they are just as much part of the
Part of the
garden,
garden.
as the plants are.
Right,
So.
right. And so you're down there with your coffee in the morning.
That's my coffee spot.
But you told me that your initial coffee walkabout in the early morning is more like my walkabouts. It's your first run through. Is you're not weeding. You're just, unless you're forced to,
of
because you
course.
see
Yeah,
something.
you see something.
But it's more of an assessment of your property. It's more IDing what needs to be done.
Yes.
Observing, looking out
But
for
not
problems.
in a heavy way. It's fun. It's my favorite time of the day.
Yeah. Oh, isn't it? For most gardeners.
Yeah.
And then you get the back.
Well, eventually here, this is these were just put in not even a week ago.
Yeah.
And we will be editing the hydrangeas out, doing a few more items. We're going to get a cover built by a beautiful, beautiful artisan here that does great woodwork. So we will be covering the air conditioning, and then hopefully doing getting our climbing roses. The Generous Gardener, actually, that's what this one is here. And we would love to do 2, just to really take over this wall here.
Very favorite David Austin rose.
Yeah.
Then you've got, I love the topography. What is this getting ready to bloom?
This is my very favorite hydrangea. It's called a Great Star Hydrangea. I really wish you could see it in person. I need to research more. It's very hard to find any information about it.
Okay.
What I have heard is that it was a mutation from a cutting in France. It's no longer available. I can't find them anywhere. But the flowers, each individual flower is about 2 or 3 inches long. It almost looks like a tropical Hawaiian hydrangea is how I would describe it. And we protect these at all costs. We have 2 more over here, but they are showstoppers. And these poor guys have been moved 3 times around the garden. They just landed here last year.
So while right now where we are, our hydrangeas and everything are just in their full-blown glory. Some of them will, once the 90s arrive, they'll start going south. You guys haven't even gotten there yet.
No,
you haven't even gotten there yet. And then look at this little charming patio area down here with your the perfect way to frame any space like this is, of course, with boxwood topiary.
Of course.
And then you've got charming carriage lights. I love your green and white. And this is where you can have a little more color against mostly the restraint of all of the evergreens.
Yeah, and this is, it's one of my favorite spaces. I feel like it, I do feel like I get away when I'm here. And in the evenings, when you have the candles going and the lanterns and you have your music playing, I mean, this is where we entertain. Yeah, it's really magical. And it's a work in progress. You know, the sun is brutal on this side. This is south side of the building. We do want to do a pergola to break up this long wall and provide much needed shade. So it's definitely going to continue to improve for sure.
Evolve. Well, and you guys entertain a lot.
Yes.
And the indoor-outdoor vibe is very important to that.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about, well, when we come back, tell me about the little cairn, or the little
Yes.
stone altar that you have
Yep.
over here.
I will.
Okay, you have fabulous containers. Tell me
Yes.
about these. These are incredible.
So, you know, containers can be really expensive, and every time I fall in love with one online, it's, as you would say, prohibitively expensive.
Prohibitively expensive, yes.
So I realized that Facebook Marketplace is the way to go, especially in this area. There are so many estates that, you know, are being sold, turned over, and whatnot. So that's my first place to look for containers is Facebook Marketplace.
Really?
You know, where something like this could go from $6.50 up here in a shop, you know, to find it for
Yeah.
$100, you know, is quite the deal, you know. So for the pair actually. So
Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my first go-to for
Facebook
everything.
Marketplace. I
Yeah.
did some deadheading for
Yes,
you while I
thank
was
you.
up here. You can thank me later. Okay, so, and they are framing this.
Yes. And again, here you go. Very important because we travel so much.
Yep.
We're about to hook it up to irrigation when it gets hot.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. It's all about how you live your life. I've got somebody watering for me at this very moment, which, you know, my garden is obscenely high maintenance when it comes to the containers. The rest of it really isn't that much. But I'm a girl who loves her container gardens. Look
Yes.
at these containers right here with a lobelia. Will your lobelia last all summer?
Yes. Yes. Here it's one of those until frost. I'm really trying to find annuals that feel natural because here, the way our summers are, they will give you that color until every leaf is gone from the trees, and they will continue until the first frost. So, and we're always desperate to hold on to beautiful weather. So,
Right.
yeah,
Well, for me, like those containers are absolutely
they're
fabulous.
from Terrain actually, but I think they're discontinued now.
Yeah,
Yes.
gosh, love terrain. The
Yeah.
other thing is, you know, I don't think colors here can be too strident. They
No.
can't be too
No.
in your face. They really have to kind of merge into the landscape and
Yeah.
seem kind of natural and look.
Well, all of the gardens we visited this week, everything seems to melt into the landscape, even no matter how structured it is.
Uh-huh.
And also there is a certain, in this New England area, you do want it to feel a little wild. Even your the most, well, look at Bunny's in her parterre.
Yeah.
Some of them were just filled with salvia, which is a little wild for boxwood.
Yeah.
You know, but you do want that pollinator garden feel.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about a million things on our way down to this. Tell me about this.
well, this is the very glamorous septic tank. So
It looks glamorous
yeah.
with the stone to me.
So what we did is, we ended up having our stonemason that we work with, our neighbor, just basically clad it in stone, and it still felt a little strange to me, and I thought it would be somewhat tacky to put a planter on it or something, just
That really would call attention.
yeah.
I am here.
And I just said, but I do want to just give it a little love, and I ended up ordering these little guys. I can't remember where I ordered them from. I wish I could. They were, and I put them out here, and a funny story about those is I ordered them, and I just opened the box, put them out one night, and the next morning I didn't tell Craig about it. We just didn't connect about it.
Yeah.
The next morning he walks down with his coffee. He woke up before me, and he came upstairs. He's like, "Who
has
did
been?"
somebody? Yeah, who's been in the yard?" And I couldn't help it. I played dumb, and I go,
I
"What?
don't know.
I have no idea."
I think it was some fairies or some leprechauns.
He thought it was a grifter or somebody, somebody off the trail. But then I let him in on the joke. But it was really funny.
But this is try this at home. You could do this so
Yes.
easily,
Yes.
just with some super glue or Gorilla
Yes,
Glue
yeah.
or something, and make it kind of whimsical.
Yeah.
We saw these everywhere in Scotland.
Yeah.
They're called CAIRNS,
Yep,
cairns.
cairns, yep.
And they're little homages, little altars to
Well, do you know what inspired
something.
that? What inspired those is we have the Housatonic River right here. That structured bridge that we went over. and it's a very rocky river, and it's right about a block away. And people always go down there and get the river rocks, and they make the cairns there.
Yeah,
And so every time I go sit by the river, I would see them, and so that's what inspired
no,
that.
I just love it. So can we stop again and make Stuart dizzy and go like this? And I want them to see the orientation of what you kind of call your wilds.
Yes.
And the patio.
Yeah.
But now, oh my goodness, the babbling brook.
Yes, it is very, very wild right now. I typically like to come in and get the invasives out, the chickweed and some of the different weeds here. It's typically much cleaner, but we've been a little busy.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to disturb it either, you know? So
Right.
I do try to, and I do the forsythia and the barberry, I do try to trim back every year. I haven't had a chance to yet. Because I really want to see it. I want to enjoy it. So
But look at those forget-me-nots.
Yeah, and we're really going to try to probably move some of those ferns and have them naturalize here along the edge as you come this way. So, just a touch. Just feather them down this way.
And they probably eventually do that anyway. You could just speed up the process.
And we're thinking eventually, again, I really don't want to disturb it. I want it to be natural. I want it to be what it is. But we were thinking of possibly just maybe raising some of these limbs just a little bit.
Yep.
So you can really see the hill.
And get more light to the understory. So the understory.
Well, those are the 5,000 daffodils. Do you see the leaves?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh!
We started from there, and next year we're gonna maybe do another 3,000 that way.
So this is, I mean, it already looks very, very mature, but it hasn't been here that long. And this truly is a work in progress here, and you just keep adding to it as you can. You've got the design principle of the rhythm and repetition of certain colors and shapes and forms across a space. You've got 2 tours here as garden ornaments. And then you and I have been lusting after some additions to this garden. And maybe we need to put up a short list here of some of
the ones we saw.
The ones we saw that we both want. Because this is beautiful. This is very harmonious. But maybe a little pop of intensity.
And it does. And in June, the nice thing is what you don't see now, you can just see the buds coming in here, is there is threadleaf coreopsis all the way through, and it weaves, snakes through, and in about 2 weeks, you'll just have an ocean of yellow in between the purple
and your
the
Russian
blues.
sage isn't in bloom yet, and you have all sorts of things that have gone to seed.
And one that has been a sleeper for me that has become my favorite is the ageratum. This is Blue Horizon, which is the only one that actually gets over
tall.
18 inches. Yeah. And it will not stop flowering until frost. It gives that meadow quality. It gives those breaks of shape. It really has been my favorite.
Did you get that at
I
white
got
flower?
that at white, yeah.
Okay, I'm adding that to my list. I'm adding that to my list.
When I saw it on its own, it felt a little bland. And I just had a gut feeling that it would give a pop, and it really does.
Well, and it's because of the shape of the leaf against the texture of the other leaves and this kind of lavender thing. And then your alliums are gone. And you and I talked about we had the same problems with our alliums this year.
Too much rain, and they were so tiny, and they lasted a day.
Like this. But you do have this gorgeous rose. Do you know what variety this rose is?
I need to look back into that.
Okay, the color is beautiful. It looks like a David Austin. Is it a David Austin?
It is a David Austin, yeah.
Okay, and then you've got smoke bush, both the gold smoke bush and the purple smoke bush back here.
Yeah, so those are actually, so the one thing that I do, to kind of bring your attention back here over there where you see all of the nepeta over here, those are what I call placeholder plants that I will continue to use and move, because it is expensive to bring in all of these perennials. And, so we do it in segments. And these are really inexpensive here. They fill it up. They're almost like a ground cover. And until we actually come up with the placement, with the mapping, then once we come up with that, we move them around to fit it. So that's kind of why you see the progression of one flower, and then you're seeing where
Yeah,
we're mapping.
salvias, and
Yeah.
you've got so many of the same things I have, but this is looks like Walker's Low.
It is.
It-
Yes.
yeah, like Walker's Low. By the way, which makes a great cut flower because your stems
Yes.
are so much longer, and pretty soon you're going to be able to divide this, and it's and the magic will just continue.
Exactly. And
And
the
then your
smoke
salvia.
bushes. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
Pardon me. Your salvias will go to seed.
Yes.
And they'll start going to
This
seed
is the
everywhere.
first year. It's been about 3 years that we've had this, and that we've started it, and yeah, I start to see little babies come
Oh
up.
yeah, and they where I am, they go everywhere. I'm
Yeah.
I'm editing out some of them. But
Yeah.
if you just get,
Yeah.
ooh, let's get this really. I mean, just look at that. And then when the bees are out and the pollinators are out,
Yes.
and the fragrance of everything is just.
I actually love to get in here, weed, and just have the buzzing around my ears. It's one of my favorite things.
So speaking of buzzing,
Yes.
we're dealing with gnats and mosquitoes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what's interesting is they're annoying, but they're not biting.
No, I've heard them called so many things. The most common name I've heard is corn gnats, and they're quite annoying. You're picking them out of your eyeballs and your nose, but they last just a short time in June, and then you get a break from them. So
Okay, and I'm having a brain moment. What is this?
Amsonia.
Amsonia, that's right.
Yes.
I need some of this. And
It took it a long time to establish.
Did it?
For such a small plant, it just stayed in its almost 3-inch pot size for about 2 years, and then last year it left. Did it
okay,
sleep, creep,
but
leap?
this effect, once this blooms,
Yes.
and then there's this
The yellow
pocket of
yeah.
blue, it will be, yeah, it will. Magic,
And again, here
magic
you have,
happens.
I got a little bit lazy and I did not spray my deer spray, and you can see all the bite marks.
tasty.
So, yes. So, like I said, actually, to kind of circle back where we were when we were talking earlier, that's the one thing. My walkabouts aren't deadheading. My walkabouts aren't, they aren't necessarily weeding and deadheading. Mine are looking for pests, looking for leaf spot.
Problems.
Everything here has, again, with the climate being so close to the brook, with the moisture, that's all I do every day. I'm turning leaves upside down. That's what I do with my coffee, is
Okay.
really look for the health of the plant.
Yeah, and you are still you say,
Yeah.
I mean, all of this to the contrary, you still call yourself a new gardener.
It's been 5 years. I just had to catch up really quickly. And that's what I do. I love to just read, look at Pinterest, and just Google images. And come up with obscure word pairings to get. You and I were talking about in the library in the house how it's this tiny room and with a short ceiling. Yet I was looking at the Palazzo, Ralph Lauren Palazzo in Milan as the inspiration for it.
Yeah.
Yet it still feels very appropriate. So the same thing happens here. I would Google watercolors, and I would Google different keywords like that, impressionist floral paintings, and I kind of wanted to get that wispy cloud.
Yeah.
So I wasn't actually Googling plant names. I was
And your selection of plants has a great pixelation to it.
That's the word I use. I use that a lot. That's the same word I use.
You and I.
Yep.
Yeah. Great pixelation to it. And I was talking to you. I want to send John some white hollyhock seeds, some golden fever few.
Oh yeah, we have. She got here and immediately jumped right in right here and was like, you need this, you need that. And I'm like, thank God you're here, because I was starting to get a little fatigued on this, and now she reinvigorated my excitement to get it going.
And this will be very budget friendly because it's just seeds. And in fact, I will be happy to be able to gift Bunny some seeds. Like she doesn't have any golden fever few, I noticed. And
I'll take them over when I borrow some sugar.
Yeah, when you borrow some sugar. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And when you check on each other. And by the way, Bunny is that down to earth.
Yeah.
She is
really is.
that approachable. She is that real.
Yes.
And what a kick. This has been a trip of a lifetime. Okay, this right here, this moment right here with Hubs sitting inside there on the sofa. Hi, Hubs. Sitting inside, spot to read, perfect indoor-outdoor dining.
Yeah. So we that's actually our main entertaining space. That's that's our main hangout space too.
Yeah.
And we're still working on this here. We love this one. This is Saint Swithun, I believe. I'm
sorry, say what? Which?
Saint Swithun. I'll give you the spelling for the channel.
Okay.
We're thinking of possibly getting a small, almost non-visible structure over here and doing another coming around.
Okay. I can see that.
But we want to
Yeah.
maintain the very few canes, keep it a little simpler to the right,
Right.
just to balance it properly. And I think it would be a beautiful entrance
Yeah.
to the porch.
And I just love the door. I love the
That's
simplicity.
the original door. So there was a porch
wow.
here, and it was falling apart, and we salvaged everything we could. And we actually had a friend who took the door, and really, that's the original knob that's been there probably over 100 years.
Gosh.
We tried to keep as much as we could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you've been just such a good steward of the property and of the garden, and I love the simplicity of the approach, and it's the gate itself.
Well, this is our
When you
next
enter,
project.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I
Yeah,
totally
but the gate itself and the design of it is a nod to
X's.
the porch.
We spoke about the X's. So there were X's on the back porch. And when we rebuilt it, we almost left them off, but it felt like it was missing something. So we put them back.
Exactly. No,
Yeah, and,
it would not
just
be
like
the
she
same
had it
thing
before.
without it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then again, the diagonals on the fence, that was very important to us. Even the peaks you see there, Craig was really specific on getting the angles and where they meet, so it's not just one flat line.
Right.
There are these little things that your eye really will never know that you're seeing it, but you are.
But you are seeing it, and it.
Here's our workspace here temporarily while we continue to landscape, and we are going to work on the driveway next week. We're going to try to really get a beautiful parking pad here for guests to be able to access the front door quickly, and a nice fresh
Gravel.
yeah, fresh gravel, and yeah, just really kind
border
of
definition, and there's never an
we're never
end.
done. No.
There is never an end to the inside or the outside. So I'm just going to do a future tease, pretty future into the future tease, and that is a million of you guys out there are going to say, now can we see the inside? Now can we see the inside? So you are, even though it is eminently charming inside, you're still a lot of works in progress and things.
Yes. Yes, the first several years of it, we're just getting it structurally sound in ways that we didn't even know, and functionally sound too,
Right.
So it has really been, we were talking about it at dinner the other night, the three of us, and we were saying how, the first few years we were putting so much of our money into just invisible things, what I mean?
Making
Just
it livable.
Yeah, making it livable. And so now it's been so much fun to be able to focus on making the inside match the outside.
Yeah. And something else that I want to concentrate on a little bit that we have yet to shoot is John and Craig have just been incredible hosts. They think of nothing, partly because you do it so often, partly because you're doing it as an art director.
Yeah.
It's just us. It's not Oscar de la Renta, but yeah, I mean, let me just name drop a little bit.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you do it so effortlessly. And I want to share on, a future video some of your ideas for easy entertaining, but that are just so important to the enjoyment of you enjoying it as the host and our enjoying it as the guest. And it's just...
And that's where, again, we hit that commonality of how we pay attention when we stay in an inn or a hotel, and what happens to hospitality to make you feel that comfort level, and how to provide that to your friends and guests.
Yeah. So, and like Stuart spent the night here last night while we were at the inn, and I bet he talked for 30 minutes about the pillow.
Very important.
About the pillow that he used.
Everything is sensory.
Everything is sensory, and you were saying that especially when you're still in the in-between states, things aren't completely finished, that it's those comforts.
Well, when it doesn't look like what you want to present,
you
at least want to give the feeling, and even a pillow can do that.
Yeah.
So,
and it's very, very sensual, and I would say as a closing, it's the ultimate try this at home of just making your guests feel so comfortable, so welcome, so part of the family. I swear we feel like we're BFFs. Like
for sure.
I swear I feel like we have known each other forever. It will be.
One of my favorite parts of this this week was when you and I disappeared the first night, and we went up to the little treehouse bedroom, and we sat there just chatting. Yeah.
Okay, it's truly that probably is a special moment. So the first night, everybody was down here, everybody was talking and everything.
Took the tour of the upstairs.
And we took the tour of the upstairs, and there's just your perfect slumber party bedroom, you know, where there's the twin beds, and you can just imagine just sitting there, and we just talked
Popped open
about
the transom window, let the breeze come in.
And we talked about your childhood and my childhood and all the things that we had in common and what was important to us, and how we couldn't believe that we were so fortunate to have found each other. And I would also say this, the importance of outreach and getting outside of your comfort zone.
For sure.
To reach out to somebody because you made the overture, and I've made the overture in the past where you really are getting outside of your comfort zone, and you're thinking,
and you know what? I really want to tell everybody she works so hard. And she makes it so effortless. And if you ever get the chance to pay it forward, like I did, I really recommend it. Reach out if you have something great, because it really very special.
On that, pay it forward. Make new friends later in life, and because it enhances the quality of life, maybe even more than a garden.